Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to Judge Stephen E. Sheiley's robing ceremony, as we like to call him around here. He goes by Sam. Welcome to his robing ceremony. The first order of business, we have a lot of introductions here today, and so we're going to go through those. And I'm going to start with the Court of Appeals judges and the tax court judges. And so we will start first. Where are you, Judge Bailey? Down here, there he is. We have in the first seat down here, Judge Mark Bailey. Next to him is Judge Paul Mathias. Next to Judge Mathias is our newest judge, except for today, Judge Mary DeBoer. Next to Judge DeBoer is Judge Nancy Vadic. So from right to left, out in the first row here, we have Judge Cale Bradford, Judge Beth Tavitas, Judge Pete Foley, and Judge Paul Felix. Mary, you're down there, so we're good. Okay, I've got you on my list twice. We also have with us today Judge Randall Shepard, who is a senior court judge for our court and has been for several years. Also with him are our other senior court judge members, John Baker. We also have Edward, also known as Ted Najum. Next to Judge Najum is Judge Margaret Robb. Our tax court judge, Justin McAdam. And also right behind him is the senior tax judge, our former tax court judge, Marty Wentworth. We also have a lot of special guests today. So some of the special guests are watching, I will also add, from different locations. I believe we have a good group of people in the house. And so if I recognize you, please raise your hand. And we'll start first. We have Micah Beckwith, our Lieutenant Governor of Indiana. Diego Morales is next to him, our Secretary of State. Patrick Price on the front row, we'll be hearing more from him. He's our General Counsel for Governor Mike Braun. Steve Carter is also here. Where are you, Steve? There's Steve. He's a Deputy General Counsel for Governor Mike Braun, as well as our former Attorney General here in the state of Indiana. In that second row there, we have Mr. Joe Heerens, former General Counsel for Governor Eric Holcomb, and next to him is Sharon Jackson, former Deputy General Counsel for former Governor Eric Holcomb. To both of you, welcome back. We also have Blake Lanning. Where are you, Blake? He must not be here yet. Also Jerry Bonnet, General Counsel for Secretary of State Morales. Jennifer Thuma, who I think I just had lunch next to, and who had lunch next to us? Caitlin Clark. So I kid you not. I'm a little starstruck right now. And she is Chief Counsel for Elise Scheele, our comptroller. We also have Honorable Cindy Carrasco. I saw her. There she is. And she is a senator from District 36. Dan DeMuley, senator from District 1. We also have Lonnie Randolph, also from District 2. And lastly, the Honorable James Tomes, senator from District 49, Indiana State Senate. We have got a ton of trial court judges here today. So we're going to go through each one of these, or I'm going to go through each one of these. Please bear with me. You realize that Sam is from the region, so some of these names are quite difficult. I will do my best. So we will start with Rihanna Adat Lopez is here from Lake Superior Court. Brian Bade, Judge Blackford Circuit Court. Honorable Lisa Burdine, Magistrate, Lake Circuit. We have Andrew Block as Judge in Hamilton County Circuit Court. We have the Honorable Christopher Buckley, the Judge from Porter Superior Court. The Honorable Rebecca Butendorp, a Judge in Porter Circuit Court. Did she take your place, Mary? Yes, so welcome, a very new Judge. The Honorable Dan Burke, referee in Lake Circuit Court. The Honorable Julie Cantrell, also Lake Superior Court. The Honorable Jeffrey Clymer, Judge, Porter Superior Court. We also have the Honorable Alexis Vasquez Didalo, Magistrate, Lake Superior Court. Here's the tough one. The Honorable Alexandra Dimitrijevic.
Yeah.
Did I get close?
Yeah, you did.
Woo! Bingo. Chief tells me I got bonus points on that one. Tom Feltz, senior judge, is here as well. Paul Freed from Fayette, down in the southern part of our state, Superior Court. The Honorable Greta Friedman, LaPorte Superior Court. The Honorable Catherine Garza, Magistrate, Lake Superior Court. Honorable Nancy Gettinger, senior judge. We also have with us the Honorable Thomas Hallett, who's a judge in Lake Superior Court. The Honorable Christina Cantar, Judge, Lake Superior Court. We have the Honorable Clay Kellerman, who is a judge in Franklin Circuit Court. The Honorable Daniel Kelly is a judge in Vigo Superior Court. We also have with us the Honorable Melanie Kendrick, who's in Marion Superior Court. Honorable John Link, Magistrate, LaPorte Superior Court. The Honorable Richard Marock, retired judge from Lake Superior Court. The Honorable Marissa McDermott, a judge in Lake Superior Court, Lake Circuit Court, excuse me. And we have, we're getting close. The Honorable Richard McDevitt, retired magistrate from Lake Circuit. The Honorable Christina Miller, retired magistrate, Lake Circuit. The Honorable Daniel Moore, judge, Tippecanoe Superior Court. The Honorable Sean Olson, magistrate, Lake Superior Court. The Honorable Timothy Orms, who we'll hear from later, is magistrate, Lake Superior Court. The Honorable Michael Pagano, senior judge. Honorable Bruce Parent, judge, Lake Superior Court. Honorable Sean Person, judge, Tippecanoe Superior Court. The Honorable Lisa Garcia Rieger, judge, Clark Circuit Court. The Honorable Cheryl Rivera, Perry Township Small Claims Court judge. Honorable Matthew Sarber, judge, Marshall Superior Court. The Honorable Davin Smith, judge, Huntington Circuit Court. Honorable Timothy Spear, Judge, Miami Circuit Court. Honorable Catherine Stafford, Judge, Monroe Circuit Court. The Honorable Richard Stallbrink, Judge, LaPorte Superior Court. The Honorable Tom Stefaniak, Judge, Lake Superior Court. Honorable Lisa Swain, Judge, Cass Superior Court. The Honorable Jason Thompson, Judge, White Circuit Court. The Honorable Dakota Van Newen, Judge, Morgan Superior Court. And last of our judges, the Honorable Michelle Waymeyer, is magistrate in Marion Superior Court. That ends the judges. Let's talk about federal officials that we have joining us here today. We have Phil Simon, is the judge of U.S. District Court for the Northern District. Where are you, Phil? There you are. Thank you very much for being here. We also have the Honorable Joseph Van Bachelen, senior judge, U.S. District Court for the Northern District. We also have Christina Ochoa, thank you, Dean of Indiana University Maurer School of Law. Where are you? Thank you very much. We have some bar officials here. We have Mike Gisotti, is the bar president. I got it right, didn't I, Mike? President of the Indiana State Bar Association. Oh, I guess I got it wrong, Gisotis. It's nice to have my fact checker right next to me, right? Jerry Garrow, president of the Indiana Trial Lawyers Association. Scott Cockrum, the president of the Defense Trial Council of Indiana. And we also have Justin Fortner, who's the Chief Administrative Officer, Office of the Judicial Administration, keeps the trains on time. Brad Skolnick, who's the Executive Director of Indiana Supreme Court Office of Admissions and Continuing Education. Greg Packmeyer, our Clerk of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals and Tax Court. Heather Fawkes, General Counsel, Indiana Supreme Court. Bob Rath, who is the Chief Innovation Officer of the Indiana Supreme Court Office of Judicial Administration. Jerry Torr, who's now a member of the Judicial Nominating Commission, former state rep. Dan Vinovich, also a member of the Judicial Nominating Commission. We have Karen Graves, the Administrator of the Indiana Tax Court. Our Court Administrator, Larry Morris. And that does it for me. So now I'm going to turn it over to the Chief Justice, Loretta Rush, and have her introduce the members of her court, both current and former. So, all yours.
Thank you. My colleagues here today are Justice Jeffrey Slaughter, and Justice Mark Massa. Justice Moulter and Justice Goff are on spring break with their children with some well-earned vacation, so they're probably watching. Welcome. We also have with us former Chief Justice Randall Shepard. We still claim him as ours. And Justice Professor Frank Sullivan. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Just a few words on behalf of Judge Sheiley. I've known him for a while, and what an outstanding judge he's been. If you go into the House chambers, it is wall-to-wall with trial court judges, and that's quite a testament to the friends and the professional colleagues that you've made. Judge Sheiley has always been a put-me-in coach kind of judge. Not only has he shown outstanding leadership in Lake County, he has helped train our judges. He reads every single civil, is that true? Civil appellate case? Yeah, because you train our judges on them. Judge Cantor and Judge Scheele provide the civil law updates. So he reads, he discerns, and he just does a wonderful job on that. He's been part of the Scheele Commission. He's been part of the chair for the ADR committee. In addition to training on the civil law, he's part of our new innovation committee. Judge Scheele really is a Renaissance man, not just a beekeeper and a farmer. Do we still get the honey? Justice Goff asked about that, and Justice Slaughter wanted to also welcome you, even though you're a Sox fan, because he likes having another appellate judge from the region. He's a Cubs fan. He's changed. He turned. But your commitment to your community as a volunteer firefighter, you've coached. I see some scout in uniform. You've been all through scouting, and just the noble things that you've done in your community with pro bono. You've done an amazing job with regard to your caseload and bringing the caseload down in Lake County. It was very impressive. And my numbers were maybe 8 months old. I'm sure you brought it down a lot more even before you came down to the bench. We are thrilled to have you. I think you represent the finest of what the Indiana Hoosier judiciary should be, so we're excited to have you here. Welcome, Judge Sheiley.
Thank you, Chief Justice Rush. We have several people who are going to speak on behalf of Sam here today, and we will start with Mr. Patrick Price, who's General Counsel on behalf of Governor Mike Braun.
Good afternoon, justices, judges, honored guests. Governor Braun extends his appreciation for the opportunity to speak today as we congratulate Judge Stephen Sam Scheele on his appointment to the Indiana Court of Appeals. While the governor was unable to attend today's ceremony, I'm honored to offer a few brief remarks on his behalf. So it's a true privilege to celebrate Judge Scheele's elevation to the Court of Appeals, not just as a remarkable recognition of his achievements, but also as a celebration of the values he has consistently embodied throughout his career. Intelligence, fairness, and above all, a deep empathy for the people he serves. For those of you who know him, and those of you who may have just met him today, we can agree on many things about Judge Scheele, but especially this: his intellectual curiosity is obvious, and it's contagious. Whether handling complex matters across a range of areas in law, both as an advocate and as a judge, studying in Germany, keeping bees, learning along with his beloved scouts, Judge Scheele loves to learn. And that love has built him a reputation not only for being well-rounded, but also for being willing to share his knowledge with others, as the chief recognized. As a judge, Judge Scheele has gone above and beyond to ensure that the judicial process is fair, efficient, and accessible to all. His work to tackle his court's busy docket is particularly noteworthy, reducing pending caseloads, yet ensuring litigants receive their attention their cases deserved. And whether he was handling high-profile matters or those outside the spotlight, Judge Scheele's fairness stems from his clear commitment to the public good, which has rightly earned him both the admiration of his peers and the trust of the people he serves. But perhaps what stands out most about Judge Scheele is his humility and his genuine care for the community. He's never viewed his work as just a job. It's always been about serving others, whether it's his time as a volunteer firefighter, his leadership with the Boy Scouts, or his outreach to students through programs like We the People. Sam has always strived to give back. He is a true public servant, and that's something we recognize and appreciate. As he embarks on the next chapter of his career, I have no doubt that Judge Scheele will continue to bring the same qualities that have defined his career thus far. The Court of Appeals is fortunate to have him, and we are all lucky to witness the positive impact he will bring to this state and to the people of Indiana. And I'd like to wrap up my time with a little anecdote that's a testament to Judge Scheele's dedication to the community and his character, and his ability to connect with people wherever his role leads him. As many of you know, it is customary for the governor's office to invite the Supreme Court justices and the Court of Appeals judges to the State of the State address that the governor gives to the General Assembly, and this year was no exception. Before the address, the judges are invited to the governor's chambers for a little reception beforehand, and we were blessed with Judge Scheele's presence. Now, we also have in the governor's office student interns that will participate to get part of their experiential learning credit with our office. And we had one this year from Northern Indiana. And he happened to strike up a conversation with Judge Sheiley, which lasted the entire time that they were in the governor's office. And I have to add that we had an impressive spread of food. So Judge Sheiley overlooked the food and continued to speak to our intern the whole time. He was patient, he was gracious, he listened, he answered questions, and he generally showed an interest in our student, which completely blew him away. And perhaps most impressively, since they're both from Northern Indiana and appreciate the challenges of commuting up to the northern parts of our state, Judge Scheele offered our student intern a place to crash if he ever had a late night here in Indianapolis and needed to sleep rather than undertaking the long journey. So I can tell you our intern was thoroughly impressed with Judge Scheele, and I'm sure that many of you in this room can attest to similar stories of their own encounters with Judge Scheele and his character and the positive influence he has had on their careers and their lives. Judge Scheele, congratulations on this well-deserved appointment. Your career has already been an incredible testament to your abilities, your values, and your dedication to justice. We look forward to seeing the difference you'll make in your next role and the many years of service that you have ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Next, we will hear from Joe Herons, former General Counsel on behalf of former Governor Eric Holcomb. Mr. Herons is not a stranger to this podium, as former Governor Holcomb appointed 7 members to our court, 8 if you count Justice Moulter, who lasted for 6 months and then went on to the Supreme Court. So, Joe, it's all yours.
Thank you. Justices, judges, honored guests, good afternoon. I wanted first to say thank you for the invitation to speak today and say a few words about one of former Governor Holcomb's last judicial appointments. In fact, I believe Judge Scheele was his 118th judicial appointment overall and the 10th appointment to the appellate bench, Supreme Court and Court of Appeals of our state, which is nearly 50% of the total appellate judges that we have. It's still hard to believe the sheer number of judges, unprecedented numbers, that former Governor Holcomb appointed, 120 in total during his 8 years in office, essentially 1/3 of all judges in our state for which a governor has appointing authority. If you do the math, that's a new judge being appointed every 3.5 weeks throughout the entirety of his 8-year governorship. And he always took that responsibility very seriously. He felt it was one of the most important things that a governor can do in service to our state and its people. It is truly an honor for me to be here today on behalf of former Governor Holcomb. Before sharing remarks about Judge Scheele, Governor Holcomb wanted me to convey his deep appreciation to Chief Justice Rush and to all of the members of the Judicial Nominating Commission for its robust and thorough vetting of all of the candidates who applied for this vacancy. He also appreciates them sending him 3 very capable, well-qualified finalists. This wonderful event today and the selection of such a remarkably well-qualified individual in Judge Scheele simply would not happen without all of the time, energy, and effort each of the members of the JNC put into it. So once again, thank you. At previous robing ceremonies that I've had the privilege to speak at in this incredibly beautiful, ornate room, I've said that days like today are momentous days. And today is certainly no different. Momentous for the judge being robed, for their family, friends, our judiciary, and indeed for our entire state. It's exciting for all of us for many reasons, not the least of which is knowing what's possible in the years ahead as we watch Judge Scheele grow into the role and make his own unique mark on the Court of Appeals and our state in his own way. For we all know that the impact that a single well-qualified judge can have can be remarkable. I've talked in the past about what former Governor Holcomb looked for, wanted to see in a candidate. Back in 2017, we designed and built the governor's judicial selection program very intentionally so that it could help the governor achieve what he wanted to in terms of goals and objectives. It all starts, of course, with identifying the most highly qualified, remarkably talented people for serious consideration. Consistent with that, what the governor importantly looked for when he was evaluating and deciding who to appoint to the bench were candidates who are bright, have great minds, legal minds, are highly experienced, have strong and impeccable reputations, are a pillar of integrity, and are collaborative, collegial, and committed absolutely to the rule of law, and who the governor was confident, if he appointed, would be fair, just, and serve with honor and distinction. He also wanted appointees who are humble, open to innovation, change, and new ideas that could add to and further improve our judicial system, and who are active in some important way outside of the courthouse, such as contributing their time and energy to organizations in their communities. We also, as part of our vetting process, would always inquire with each finalist about their judicial philosophy, their overall viewpoint in that regard, and in particular, what they thought about originalism, which was championed by, among others, former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. And it's the approach of interpreting and applying the Constitution, statutes, and laws of our land based on their original meaning at the time they were adopted, which is a principled approach that respects the proper roles of the three branches of government. In light of the above and all of what former Governor Holcomb looked for, that brings me now to Judge Sheiley and his selection. We were already quite familiar with Judge Sheiley because we had vetted him back in 2019 when he applied for a vacancy on the Lake County Superior Court, to which Governor Holcomb eventually appointed him. He was already an impressive candidate at that time, but we watched him grow in the ensuing years, and by 2024, he embodied all of the skills, abilities, qualities, and characteristics that I just mentioned. Indeed, Judge Scheele has all of them in spades. Something else he has is boundless energy and enthusiasm. If you know Judge Scheele, you know what I'm talking about. His energy and enthusiasm are contagious, a word that Patrick used, and that's a good thing. Those qualities have a positive effect on the people around him, which for many is inspiring, motivating, and refreshing. In that and other ways, Judge Scheele makes people around him better, and the importance and benefits of that kind of wonderful impact simply cannot be overstated. All of that energy and enthusiasm is one of the defining, in fact, indeed endearing, characteristics of Judge Scheele. Many of you know this already, but Judge Scheele has been, and it's been mentioned twice already, a volunteer firefighter, baseball coach, active in Boy Scouts, a parent volunteer at his children's schools, a teacher of government, the court system, and civics through the We the People statewide program, and he enthusiastically engages in K-12 outreach by regularly hosting elementary, middle, and high school students to observe court proceedings, conduct mock trials, and learn about civics and the law, and that's just a few of the things he's done. Judge Scheele is also quite active in our statewide judicial system, serving as chair and a member of several Indiana Supreme Court committees, including those on alternative dispute resolution, and as the Chief Justice mentioned, the Innovation Committee as well. He enjoys tending to and spending time with his family at their farm in Pulaski County, I did say that correctly, along the Tippecanoe River, which has been in his family for over 100 years. As he told us in his own words, and I quote, "We derive great enjoyment from our family time there, which includes wandering in the woods, beekeeping, fishing, canoeing, ATV, dirt bike riding, and so much more." He also told us, "I'm drawn to nearly anything outdoors, and we have a pop-up camper we've pulled around most of the country." I could list more notable things about this remarkable judge, but let me instead share some of former Governor Holcomb's public comments that he made last fall when he announced Judge Scheele's appointment. The governor said, and I quote, "Judge Sheiley is the total package, a person of immense integrity and a lifetime of experience. He's a role model and has a reputation as an intelligent and thoughtful leader. He brings intellect to the position while also being approachable and relatable. His commitment to the rule of law and justice will continue to serve his fellow Hoosiers with distinction as he joins the second highest bench in Indiana." During our vetting, we also heard from many others who had knowledge about Judge Scheele. Here are a few of the things they said about him. The first quote I have is, "Judge Scheele, his integrity, forthrightness, keen intellect, and strong interpersonal skills will serve him well on the Court of Appeals. He's honest, humble, open-minded, with a deep respect for the law and the rights of individuals. He also maintains the dignity of the court, even in challenging circumstances. When other judges might lose their cool, Judge Scheele has a firm and decisive hand which mixes well with his even temper and his willingness to listen considerately to everyone." Another person shared the following story, which I think importantly highlights so much about the kind of person and frankly the kind of judge and leader that Judge Scheele is. Quote, "Sam is a true public servant. As an example, he recently hosted 2 separate elementary schools in his courtroom. After the children had engaged in a mock trial and visited with canine, SWAT, and patrol officers, Sam had the kids help him with an actual case conference call. Yes, the real thing. The lawyers for the parties introduced themselves to the kids, talked about the legal profession in general and what they do as lawyers, and even encouraged the kids to think about careers in the legal field. It was a remarkable experience." As Governor Holcomb mentioned last fall, Judge Scheele truly is the total package. Judge, on behalf of former Governor Holcomb, congratulations.
Thank you, Joe. Our next speaker should be fun. It is J. Matthew Berry, who is the Scoutmaster for Boy Scout Troop 532 in Cherville, Indiana. Mr. Perry.
Now, thank you very much. I was a little concerned about running long, but now I get to strike pieces because we've heard a bunch of what I was going to say, so clearly we all had the same materials. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to stand here before so many dignitaries and prominent public officials. And it is a humbling moment for me as well to have been asked to provide some commentary about the Honorable Stephen Sheiley, who I've always known as just Sam. As the Scoutmaster of Troop 532, based out of Emmanuel Presbyterian Church in Cherville, it is my pleasure to offer up a few remarks on Sam as it pertains to his community service, mostly in our troop, but also some from beyond. Today, I'll be framing my remarks focusing largely on Scouting. The Scouting America program is one of the largest youth-led, service-focused organizations in America. The program is constantly evolving and has changed significantly since Lord Robert Baden-Powell established it to provide well-rounded outdoor education to young people. Scouting today serves young men and women as a force to positively impact communities, spread awareness on important issues, but at its core, the mission remains the same: to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. When it comes to Sam and my comments today, I'll use the Scout Law to highlight his contributions, both to our troop and the community. But first, let me take you through the points of the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. There are a few other words in our program that I find relevant as well, however. Scouting America's motto is to do a good turn daily, and the aims of Scouting are character, citizenship, personal fitness, and leadership. As I'll outline in the next few minutes, I hope that you will find each of those aims in Sam. But first, a short history of Sam and Scouting. His introduction to the Scouts came through the Cub Scout Pack 504, also out of Cherville, as a den leader for den number 5, which he joined with his son Noah back in 2014. Over the years and through Noah's advancement, Sam's role evolved as well. He led many dens and expanded to become the Cub Master, which broadened support to the full pack, not just a single den. As a Cub Master, one is often tasked with coordinating group activities and outings, and it will come as no surprise that a lot of these are civic-minded adventures, trips to fire and police stations, the Sheriff's Department, or the Lake County Courthouse. And honestly, these are not unique to PAC 504. PACs and troops are blessed with local leaders that welcome us into their courtrooms. And then to their stations and other areas. Now, to be transparent, because a Scout is trustworthy, many of these trips are for citizenship rank requirements. But let's be honest, fire trucks and police cars are cool. However, having somebody who knows their way around the courthouse is equally as cool. But under Sam's leadership, I'm sure it was something much more. As I've learned through watching Sam and the troop, his passion for his role as a public servant would undoubtedly have shown through, relating the experience back to the concept of citizenship and public service, not just cool places to work and, of course, fire trucks. But he would also ensure that boys learned how and why that was important to the activity. As Noah crossed over to Boy Scouts in Troop 532 in 2019, Sam came with him and has served as an active adult leader in the roles of committee secretary, outdoor activities coordinator, and one of my assistant scoutmasters for as long as I've been in my role as a scoutmaster. Boy Scouts is quite different from the Cub Scouts, however. Let's return to the Scout Law, shall we? A Scout is helpful. While the youth lead our troops, the adults have a large role to play in its success. And nowhere is that more evident than in our outdoor activities, which I will get to shortly. But just to put some things in perspective, and you've already heard how busy Sam is in general, they say Scouting is only a 2-hour per week commitment for adult leaders. And in some cases that may be true. My case, it's like a full-time job. But Sam's volunteer commitments don't impede him from being able to help us. I am going to take one brief detour from Scouting, though, because this is something I found very relevant. I was researching my remarks today. I'm a learning and development leader, and as in preparing these remarks, I had a chance to review something that speaks to my L&D heart. Survey responses are fantastic resources, especially when people take the time to provide feedback in the comments boxes at the bottom of every survey. We really find information in there powerful for us because it makes us better, but it also lets us know how our training impacted the learner. I had the ability to review some feedback from one of Sam's guest lectures at the University of Denver, and it had some gems like, the judge was great. One of the best things about the class was the judge. I really like seeing what alums do after they graduate. It's cool to see how things turn out. But then there was this one, and I'm going to read it verbatim. I particularly enjoyed our guest speaker, Judge Scheele, and his discussion of the different cases that he worked on during his time as a public defender. I am interested in becoming an attorney and found his experience with those cases inspiring. Fortunately for us, Sam goes out of his way to inspire our scouts in many ways. Be it hosting the law merit badge in the courtroom, complete with a mock trial, to always being willing to help our scouts understand how great the program is and its exceptional things that we do. Sam lends the same expertise to our merit badge programs, leading the law in 3 of the 4 citizenship merit badges. He also provides insight into citizenship rank requirements needed as the youth make their way through the ranks, and he willingly steps in and supports other non-civics related badges where his skill set is relatable, including public speaking, communications, and then various outdoor related ones as well, like mountain biking, canoeing, kayaking, and camping. But back to the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy. Coordinating our outdoor endeavors is something we place a high amount of trust into the person who leads this role, as they need to plan engagements with the boys that not only get them outdoors, but engage and teach valuable things along the way, in addition to having a good time. As the outdoor activities coordinator, Sam has planned, continues to plan, and attend nearly every monthly campout. His vision for providing an epic experience has taken Troop 532 all over, staying at BSA reservations in Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio. Sam makes sure that we support Indiana's amazing natural resources by camping at many of the state and national parks like Clifty Falls, the Dunes, McCormick's Creek, Pokagon, Prophetstown, Salamone Lake, and Turkey Run. This trend does continue out of state, although admittedly the parks may not be as great, in Michigan and Illinois. We are never at a loss for adventure or an adventure to take. And with Sam at the heart of the troop's adventuring spirit, each of our trips provides the youth, and admittedly the adults as well, opportunities to shape qualities like vision, planning, cooperation, accountability, leadership, and endless other life skills. One point to note, we are currently booked full through 2025 and looking into 2026 already. This is something that Sam took the charge to get in place should this appointment be made. So for those of you playing Scout Law bingo, that's loyal, courteous, and kind for you. On a personal note, Sam and I had the opportunity to attend the National Scout Jamboree at Summit Bechtel Scout Reservation in West Virginia back in 2023. The Jamboree, or Jambo as it's called, is the Disneyland for Scouts. All of the activities that are taught in merit badge classes in one place, but with nothing to do other than do the activities. Sam and I were both assistant scoutmasters for one of the largest contingents of scouts in attendance from Indiana. While the boys were doing their thing, Sam and I logged some 180,000 steps a day, averaging over 5 miles walking around. And okay, a scout is trustworthy. I logged that much. But Sam decided he wanted 30,000 steps a day and accomplished that on several days on the trip. During these walks, our conversations were wide-ranging, from the splendor and beauty that we were experiencing and how fortunate we were for our employers to provide us with this opportunity, in addition to talking about the state of scouting and the state of our troop as well. It's times like these when you truly get a chance to get to know someone as a person, and I can honestly say that Sam is the embodiment of the type of adult leader scouting needs. In closing, I've had the fortunate opportunity to preside over several Eagle Court of Honor ceremonies in my time as Scoutmaster. During these, I always point out that yes, we do a lot of outdoor things, but when a youth achieves the rank of Eagle, they have learned something far more valuable along the way: how to lead and positively contribute to society. In our troop, one of the role models we have at our disposal is the Honorable Sam Scheele, a leader in the community who has mentored many, been counsel to those that needed representation when they had none, been ethical and steadfast in his character, and worked to expand the awareness of civic responsibility to his community. I have no doubt that he will hold a fidelity to his oath of office and exemplify the values of this court, something that is needed in society today. Sam, Troop 532 could not be more proud of your nomination to this position, and we look forward to following along as you start your new journey and hope to welcome you to many more, no doubt epic journeys of our own that we have coming our way, admittedly courtesy of you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Scoutmaster Berry. Our final speaker is the Honorable Timothy Orms, who's a magistrate judge in Lake Superior Court Juvenile Division. Thank you, Magistrate Orms.
May it please the court, justices, judges, and special guests. Good afternoon. I feel privileged to be part of this ceremony celebrating my friend and our newest Court of Appeals judge, Sam Scheele. I have to tell you, I didn't know his first name was Stephen for the first 5 years I knew him. I'm not joking. He wasn't a lawyer yet, and I didn't know until I saw the bar listing that his name was Stephen. But anyway, I am so happy today for Sam, Christy, Noah, Amelia, and his entire family. And I'm so proud of Sam and the well-deserved recognition he has received as a stalwart, not just in the Lake County judiciary, but more recently on the statewide level. When Sam called me a few weeks ago and asked me to introduce him here today, he suggested that I watch some of the videos of past robing ceremonies, become familiar with the event protocol. I myself had only been to one other, that was Judge Tavitas's robing previously, so I followed his advice and watched several of the past ceremonies. If you want to gain an appreciation for the quality of the judges we have on the Indiana Court of Appeals, you should watch a few of them too. In watching them, I heard all the speakers detail the impressive accomplishments, accolades, and incredible work ethic of the Court of Appeals judge being robed during each of the ceremonies. They all had different paths to this esteemed bench, but the theme of hard work ran through each of their stories. To the now 15 members of the Indiana Court of Appeals, I commend you all for your service and dedication to our state. We're all lucky to have you as the gatekeepers of justice and rule of the law in Indiana. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the path that Judge Sheiley took to arrive at this momentous day. Sam's judicial career began just over 8 years ago in December 2016 when he was selected to be a magistrate in the Lake Circuit Court, serving under Judge Marissa McDermott. Before that, Sam spent 20 years practicing law and earning a reputation as an excellent lawyer, equally adept in both civil and criminal matters in both state and federal courts. In 2009, I was lucky enough to have Sam invite me to become a tenant and then later a co-owner of a suite of law offices in Highland, 9013, Indianapolis Boulevard. In the nearly 8 years that I shared office space with Sam, we talked almost daily about legal issues and worked on many cases together. I not only learned what a keen legal mind Sam had, but also appreciated how well he related to people. During that time, I also came to appreciate Sam's strong work ethic and business acumen. Sam's law practice and our LLC that managed the building we owned both ran like well-oiled machines, mainly because of Sam's ability to multitask and to delegate to his awesome staff. Most work days, Sam and I were the last two in the building, long after everyone else left, and we had a routine where the first one of us to leave would call down the hall to the other one, make sure they were still there or check if they were still there because we didn't want to lock the other one in and turn on the burglar alarm. This often occurred at 8 or 9 o'clock at night and sometimes later. Sam would often go home to eat dinner with his family and then come back to the office after his kids went to bed to keep working. Did I mention that he was normally in the office before 7:30 in the morning? I sometimes wondered if he ever slept. It was a sad day for me when Sam told me he was going to become magistrate, both because I'd miss having daily contact with him and because now it would be my job to manage the building by myself. But it was the right move for Sam as he thrived in his new role, and the Lake County legal community noticed. How do I know that? Well, in 2019, when Sam applied for the civil bench vacancy in Lake County, the Lake County Bar Association conducted their customary lawyers survey asking all of its members to rank the applicants. Sam received the highest ranking of any applicant in that particular poll, but as it turns out, his score is still the highest ever earned by a judicial applicant for a civil bench in Lake County history. Shortly after Sam began serving Lake County as a magistrate, he began his statewide service, which Justice Rush touched on a little while ago. First, he was on the Indiana Supreme Court's Alternative Dispute Resolution Committee in 2017. He became the chairman of that committee in 2019, about the same time that he was appointed to the Room 5 bench by Governor Holcomb. Sam served as the ADR committee chairman until July of 2023. He was then appointed and still serves on the Indiana Supreme Court's Innovation Committee. Sam was a member of the Indiana Commission for Continuing Legal Education concurrently with his time as the ADR committee chairman. 2022, he was a member of the Pathways to the Bench and Bar Working Group to the Commission on Equity and Access to the Court System. And in 2024, was appointed to the Education and Outreach Subcommittee of the Indiana Supreme Court Commission on Race and Gender Fairness. In addition to being involved with all of that, Judge Scheele has somehow found the time to present at continuing legal education seminars an astounding 17 times since taking the bench. So on an average of more than twice a year since 2017, he has helped to teach other judicial officers and lawyers about a myriad of legal topics. I still wonder if he ever sleeps. So with all of this work, extra work and responsibility, how did Judge Scheele fare once he was appointed to the Room 5 bench in 2019? Well, in the 3 years preceding his appointment, the number of pending cases at year's end in Room 5 was always over 4,000 cases, and was at 4,471 when my friend took over in the middle of 2019. At the end of 2024, I do have the updated numbers, Justice Rush. Sam left the bench. The pending number of cases was down to 1,501. That equals a 66.4 reduction in number of pending cases under his 5.5-year watch. That is an amazing turnaround and speaks volumes about the hard work and dedication of this judge and his Room 5 staff. And I want to give a shout out to Susan Osborne back there for getting Susan had these numbers to me, I think, within an hour or less of when I asked her for them, so it was impressive. I want to conclude my comments today by telling you about a case that Sam did about 10 years ago that best exemplifies the type of lawyer that Sam was and the type of person he is. It was not easy to narrow this down to just one, but there is a time limit here. The case I selected involved a June 2014 bank robbery. Sam's client who committed the crime was named David Pachin. I didn't say allegedly, he definitely committed the crime. At the time of the bank robbery, he was already on probation and parole after serving time in prison for holding hostages at gunpoint for several hours in a bank robbery in 2001. He had received a 25-year sentence with 5 years of probation from Judge Murray, Clarence Murray, in his 2001 case. After being released on probation and parole in March of 2014, Mr. Pachin found work in his given trade as a welder. But within a few months, he was laid off from that job, was unable to find a new job, mainly because of his felony record, and was out of all options and ended up actually living in the woods in the Gary, Maryville area. After giving up all hope, Pachin decided he was better off going back to prison. So his solution was to write a note demanding $5 and $10 bills on the back of his very last resume. He took that note, he walked into a Maryville, Indiana bank, gave it to the teller. It worked. The teller gave him $1,600, which he stuffed into his back pocket and walked out the door of the bank, sat down on a parking block and waited for the police to arrive, and he waved them down so they would arrest him. Pachin was charged with robbery as a Class C felony. Lake County Probation Department and the Indiana Parole Board moved to revoke his probation and his parole. On his old case, he was ordered held without bail to Lake County Jail. In an unusual circumstance, Sam's client refused to plead guilty to robbing the bank unless he could be assured of receiving the maximum sentence on his new and old cases. At a hearing in February 2015, Pachin pled guilty to the Class C felony without the benefit of a plea agreement. Then at that hearing, Sam explained the circumstances and the motivation behind the crime and the guilty plea to Judge Murray, the same judge that had given him 25 years previously. By complete chance, there was a news reporter in the audience, and she heard this exchange and what Sam had to say about Mr. Pachin. That news reporter wrote an article in the local paper with the headline, "Homeless Ex-Con Tells Judge He Robbed Bank to Get Caught." The story went viral in Chicagoland and national media. Prospective employers from around the country contacted Sam to offer jobs to his clients. Family members that had lost touch with Pachin contacted Sam, with one even offering to loan him a vehicle. One of Sam's other clients, a private client, offered Pachin an apartment to stay in. Sam filed a motion that was granted, allowing employers into the Lake County Jail to interview the man. A trucking company in Chicago Heights, Illinois, offered David Pachin a well-paying job as a welder. After that, Sam was able to persuade the Lake County prosecutor and probation and parole boards to exercise some very prudent discretion. Miraculously, Sam was able to have the guilty plea withdrawn, and the state agreed to allow Mr. Pachin to enter into a 1-year pretrial diversion agreement. And anyone who knows what that means, that's incredible. The deal was he was released from jail on March 18, 2015, and he just had to stay out of trouble for 1 year. Case dismissed. David Pachin, the man had given up all hope and wanted to go to prison as long as he could, received something he didn't think to ask for, a second chance. All because he was lucky enough to be represented by a great lawyer with a great heart who knows that every person in every case matters. Robert F. Kennedy Sr. once said that each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. The actions of Sam Scheele improved the lot of David Pachin in a way Pachin never thought possible, and gave him a ripple of hope 10 years ago. So I thought I'd reach out to Mr. Pachin and to see if he would actually come down here with me today for the ceremony. I contacted the trucking company that he went to work for 10 years ago, and I wasn't surprised to find out he still works there. I talked to the company dispatcher, her name was Kim, explained what I wanted to talk to Mr. Pachin about, gave her my phone number to asked him to call me back. I heard nothing for a few days. So I tried calling there, told her 5 more times. They weren't answering my call. So they must have caller ID and didn't want to answer the same number again, I guess. But I was persistent, and I called from a different phone number. And, and I talked to Kim again, and then she said, "Didn't Dave call you?" I said, "No, he didn't." "Well, I gave him your number. He says he doesn't want to get involved." So I explained to Kim why I thought this was such a great idea and how important this is and how wonderful this story is. And then I said, this was what a great job his public defender did for him. And then she acted surprised, and she goes, "So Mr. Sheiley was his public defender?" I said, "Yes." "He didn't get paid anything extra for doing that for Dave?" I said, "Exactly." I got Kim on my side. That was the good news. So Kim talked to David some more clearly, because within 2 hours I got a call from Dave. The bad news is Dave, even though he's very grateful for everything he did for him, Sam, he's a very private man, very shy man, and he told me that was the darkest time of his life, and he doesn't want to revisit it, and he didn't want to come down here, and I tried. But he did tell me to tell you hi. I didn't mention when I first described the case details to you that Sam was appointed as a public defender for Pachin, because it really didn't matter to my story or to the level of effort Sam exerted on his behalf. The Pachin case is just one of many examples of the extraordinary work Sam has performed during his legal career, and there are many more ripples of hope that he has sent forth through his ideals, his actions, and his fight for justice up to this point in his life. We can all look forward to the waves of hope that he can generate on this much grander stage. Sam, on behalf of everybody, on behalf of the many Lake County judicial officers here, both in the courtroom, in the anteroom, I proudly introduce to you my friend, Stephen Sam Sheiley.
Thank you very much, Judge Orms. Now, why we're here, the moment everybody's been waiting for. It's now time for the swearing in. Judge Sheiley's daughter, Amelia, is going to hold the Bible for the administration of the oath. And then Judge Sheiley's wife, Christy, and their son, Noah, will assist in robing Judge Sheiley. I will administer the oath, so once everybody's in place, I will get down there in 5 secs. Hold on.
right.
Sam, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly, I, Stephen E. Sheiley,
I, Stephen E. Sheiley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Indiana,
of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of judge
discharge the duties of judge
of the Court of Appeals of Indiana
of the Court of Appeals of Indiana
according to the best of my skill
according to the best of my skill
and ability,
and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Yes, you're supposed to robe him.
Chief, is this where
This is where you put the robe on, Sam.
Ah! Missed that part. Thank you.
All right, Judge Sheiley, it's now time for you to give your remarks. As we've heard today, Judge Sheiley loves to talk, so I'm going to put a 5-minute limit on you because I'm hungry.
Well, I don't know. These are tough acts to follow.
They are, indeed.
You know, Ms. Orms and Barry, I think Larry Morris, our administrator, had said 7 to 10 minutes on the opening speakers. So that's okay. I might get less than these guys. Thank you, both of you, for your warm words, and Chief Justice and Chief Judge, and likewise, Lawyers Price and Heron. Thank you for those kind words. And may it please this court, Chief Justice Rush, Chief Judge Altice, past and present counselors for our governors, Eric Holcomb and Michael Braun, that is Lawyers Hearens and Jackson. Michael Nassett is not present today, but now Senator Cynthia Carrasco, former counselor for Governor Holcomb, Lawyers Price and Carter. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, thank you for being here today, sir. Respected members of our General Assembly, I think it's all senators today. Judges from our trial court, Court of Appeals, our justices of our Supreme Court, members of the bar, colleagues, friends, scouters, and of course, my family. Christy, my wife, our children, Noah and Amelia. I am so honored and humbled to have everybody's encouragement and support as we, my family and I, step into this next chapter of our personal lives and my professional life. Thank you, Chief Judge Altice, and my new colleagues on the Court of Appeals, and Larry Morris, our administrator, and your team for the warm welcome. Through your great work, we have assembled an incredible chamber. The transition of my onboarding process has been as seamless as I ever could have hoped. And to that end, I want to just quickly introduce that in the gallery here, if you'll just raise your hands, my new chambermates, law clerks with whom I work. We've got Brandon Hauser Jackie Reed and Heather Smith toward the back of the gallery, and I believe seated to Brandon's right is Samantha Crow. Samantha, are you back there? Samantha's currently with the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. She'll be onboarding with us in a few months. It's been my distinct pleasure working with all of you, and I look forward to our great work in the years to come. Last week, my new friend and colleague on the Court of Appeals and de facto mentor on the Court of Appeals, Judge Paul Felix, was on an email thread with me where I was included, and Judge Felix made a reference to what he referred to as the book of his life. And that verbal imagery resonated with me as, and maybe the timing was poignant there, Judge Felix. It caused me to ponder some of the things and those chapters of my life that have led me to just now take this oath and to be here in this place where, candidly, I never thought that I would be. And as I have done so, I realize how fortunate I am to have all of the people assembled here, all of you, in my life. All of our parents, my mom, Marilyn, my father, Ray, my stepmom, Marcy, they are all watching on live stream. They could not be here today. My stepfather, Richard, my stepmother, Lynn, Christy's parents, Norman and Jeannie, also watching on live stream today. And I'm going to throw in there my Aunt Renata and my Aunt Virginia and my Uncle Dale, present here today. All of you worked so hard to not just provide for and to raise us, but to instill into us kids, my generation, me, Christy, my brother Bob, my sister Laura, all of our cousins that are assembled here today, with the values of family and education and morality and faith that have propelled us in our lives. And you, parents, aunts, uncles, provided us everything that we needed in that respect. Thank you. Thank you. With that tremendous benefit, that foundation of our parents, I have been so fortunate in my life to have so many close and lifelong friends. Seated in the back of the room today are Brian Vanderwall, Craig Wise, Jim York, three guys who I have known since I was about 4 years old. We grew up in the same block within doors of each other. Brian and I enrolled in kindergarten together in 1976-ish. I was 5 years old. For as long as I have had memories, you guys have been in those memories. You guys, you're sitting back there with my near and dear college friends, Aaron Marshall, Adam Warner, as well as with my best friends from law school, Rob Thornburg, Adam Tavitas, Julian Sr., John Toohey. You guys have flown in from places as far away as Seattle, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, just to hang out here for a few hours this afternoon with me. Thank you all for being such good and close friends. I draw a lot of strength from our friendship. Thank you, guys. When I got out of law school in the 1990s, it was a tighter legal market then than it is today, Chief Justice. We have a lawyer shortage today. Back then, jobs were, for lawyers, young lawyers, were a little bit harder to come by. I knew I wanted to work in private practice. I sent out truly hundreds of cold call letters, resume transcripts, hundreds of them, far and wide. I really concentrated, though, on Northwest Indiana, my home, my family. It's where I grew up. It is where these guys in the back of the room lived, and it is where I wanted to go to work and to spend my life. I'm not kidding. Out of those hundreds of letters, I only got one response, one positive response. From then Highland attorney and now federal judge Joe Van Bachlen. Joe, you and your law partners at the time, Fred Ball, Sam Goodman, Paul Leonard, hired me. You gave me a job. It was that one response was all I needed. You guys took me under your wings. You taught me how to practice law. You gave me the tools of the trade. You introduced me to the bench, well, to the bar, and then to the bench of Northern Indiana. And as the years went by and as things transitioned and Joe moved on with his career in the federal court and other lawyers went in different directions, I had occasion to continue to work in that building. And throughout that time, share office space and practice with so many great lawyers. So many of you are here today, and I had to write them down on a list because there are so many of you. I would have possibly forgotten somebody. Magistrate Tim Orms, now Magistrate Tim Orms. Now Judge Marissa McDermott, Dave Servin, Barb Shaver, Carrie Connor, Aaron Kuntz, Maureen Kuntz, and retired Judge Richard Marock. You all came down here today for this event. Thank you for that. That chapter of my professional life, when we all worked together in that building in Highland, Indiana, was a very fun chapter. And what an amazing place Northern Indiana was and is to practice law. The 20 northernmost counties of Indiana, that's our 3rd judicial district. Judge Mathias and Judge Tavitas are my 3rd district benchmates. I am now the youngest. As I look around this room, and as I know in our spillover room, the folks we have over on that side, we have so many the best and the brightest of Northern Indiana has come down here this afternoon. We have representatives from the plaintiff's bar, from the insurance defense bar, prosecutors, public defenders, criminal defense attorneys. A great showing from our family law bar is here. Banking and transactional lawyers are here. I'll just observe our current Indiana State Bar President, Mike Jositis from Lake County. You're here, sir. And off the top of my head, I know we've got Dan Vinovich, Tom Feltz, and Mike Tolbert all in the house, so to speak. All State Bar presidents from up north. Executive Director Donna Somerville Smith, I say Executive Director of our Calumet Inns Court. You came down here, ma'am. Lake County's prosecutor, Bernie Carter, the longest tenured and serving prosecutor in our state of Indiana. Mr. Carter, thank you for coming down here. You are flanked by your chief deputies, Pete Villarreal and Barb McConnell. Thank you folks for making that trip. I have known you three, Bernie, Barb, Pete, for longer than I've been a lawyer. For that matter, so many of the folks that are here, Tim, Magistrate Orms, and so many of the other lawyers that we've talked about, I have known since before I took my very first judicial oath back in 1997. All of you lawyers with whom I practiced, as I practiced alongside and with and sometimes for and very often against you lawyers, you imprinted upon me. I am a better lawyer, I'm a better judge, and I'm a better person because of each of you. Thank you for that, lawyers. In 2016, one of my office mates I just mentioned, then attorney Marissa McDermott, suggested to me that I should apply for an open vacancy in the Lake Circuit Court, a vacancy for a magistrate position. And so I did, and I was hired, and thus began that chapter of my life as a judicial officer, a full-time public servant. Thank you for that tap on the shoulder, Judge McDermott. It changed my career trajectory, it changed my life, and it begat my first appointment by Governor Holcomb in 2019. Thanks again for that, Governor Holcomb, Attorneys Hearens and Jackson and Carrasco. I loved being a trial court judge. I loved that my job was every day to just do the right thing. And fundamentally, isn't that the mission of our judiciary? To do the right thing? And that is what I have always done my best to do. And while I am talking about our trial court judges and that trial court bench, there's 50 or more of you assembled in our House chambers. Apologies for the spillover. We did not have the room for everybody here in the Supreme Court room, but it is you, our trial courts, that truly do the heavy lifting in our Indiana judiciary. Many in this room don't know, and for those that do know, it bears repeating that in our Indiana trial courts, there are more than 1 million cases that are filed every single year, whether it's from the myriad traffic or small claims to all of the tragedies of crime, the wrongful death litigation cases, the class action lawsuits, the complex cases. Those are all going first and foremost through our trial courts. Our trial courts are delivering speedy and effective and fair justice. We in Indiana, the Hoosier State, are blessed to have such an incredible trial court bench. And so I say to my Lake County benchmates assembled over there in the House chamber, although I won't have the opportunity to work with you every day going forward, let me just say, you are a great team. You are a powerhouse unto yourselves. I had so much fun working with you. I learned from each of you every day. You all made me better at what I did, and I am going to so miss working with each of you. I am currently enrolled in a graduate class for judges. And I have several judicial graduate classmates here. They are also relegated nicely over to the House chamber. And although I don't know that it's been reduced to writing, our class president, Judge Melanie Kendrick, has declared that our 2024 to 2025 graduate class is ordained to be the greatest graduate class of all time. So Judge Kendrick, I agree with you, and I will wholeheartedly affirm you on that one, Judge Kendrick. Graduate school classmates, thank you for your enthusiasm for the law. It itself is infectious. Your friendship, I thank you for. I thank you for your collegiality, and I look forward to our next week-long session, which will be in June. In the 12 months or so, I should say in the last 12 months or so, so many of you here in this room and over in the House chamber have been so generous with your time and your advice and your guidance to me. Holly Wojcik, I lost track of how many times you told me, I believe in you. And I needed it. I needed to hear that because it built my confidence. Thank you for that, Holly Wojcik. and so many more of you, and you all know who you are. It would take me, basically, I would need to have the roster of everybody who's here to go through all of those names. But you all spent so much time to talk with me through the process, to meet with me. You wrote letters on my behalf. You spoke on my behalf. You received out of the blue phone calls from the likes of Chief Justice Rush, from the likes of members of the Judicial Nominating Commission, from the lawyers' legal team, all checking up on me. I will never forget the confidence that you have all placed in me, the trust that you have placed in me. Thank you for that. And speaking of our Judicial Nominating Commission, Dan Vinovich and Lee Christie are here today. Gentlemen, you and your cohorts, Molly Kitchell, Danny Lopez, Tony Patterson, and Nancy Stewart, your efforts, your dedicated service to preserving the integrity of our judiciary cannot be overstated. Thank you for those countless hours that you all have spent, and thank you for your confidence in advancing my name to the governor. And Mr. Jerry Torr, welcome, sir, to the Judicial Nominating Commission. I have every confidence in your contributions to come in these next 3 years, and I look forward to getting to know you, sir. Of course, as a part of this process, as our names were advanced to the governor, I was, as it turned out, one of 4 names that were amongst the co-finalists. Judge Mary DeBoer, Judge Stephanie Steele, and Attorney Anna Mandula and I were before the governor for his consideration. You are all friends. You are all esteemed colleagues. And I truly believe that any one of us would do well to serve this court, which, in my opinion, speaks well of the great work that our Judicial Nominating Commission does and has done. I thank each of you for your collegiality, your friendship, your professionalism throughout this process. Judge Terry Crone can't be here today. He's in Florida, as he should be. He leaves a 40-year legacy as a jurist. 20 on the Court of Appeals, 20 and counting, really. He's continuing to serve as a senior, and then close to 20 as a trial court judge. It's a legacy of legal scholarship and leadership. I am honored to follow in Judge Crone's footsteps. I thank you, Terry Crone, for your friendship and the mentorship that you have provided to me in the short time since I have onboarded. I was truly tickled to sit on 2 panels so far that included Judge Crone, in which we've generated some opinions. And I look forward to our continuing relationship and to carrying your legacy forward, sir. I would also be remiss if I did not now observe that I'm so fortunate to have my prior staffs here, my law staff and my trial court staff. Administrators, Penny Deal and Marilyn McLemore and Susan Osborne, bailiff Anthony Volpitta, court reporter Nareda Torres, staffers Felicia Roselle and Tisha Blissett, you all taught me, you all prepared me, you all decompressed with me after some of the emotional tumult that we see in the courtrooms. You all inspired me with your great dedication to public service. You all tolerated me. You suffered me at times to the extent that I have been or had success as a lawyer or as a judge. It wasn't as much because of me as it was because of the people by whom I was surrounded. And it was you, my staff, our staff, that were always closest to me. Thank you, and I will never forget that. Judge Felix, as you and I ponder our books of life, our chapters of life, and I'm struck by the confluence of those chapters that's here now. My childhood buddies, my college buddies, my law school buddies, my legal professional lawyer buddies, my trial court friends and colleagues, my family, this scouting troop. I'm just struck by how it sort of has all come together here and now. As I look forward, I feel so fortunate that we have so many young people in this room. I've got here my little cousin, Evangeline. I like to call her Evangeline Jr. Evangeline, how old are you now? 7? All right, I got that one. 7-year-old Evangeline, our youngest, and then going on up through our teenagers. We have my nephews, Thomas and Kent, my niece, 17-year-old Alyssa, an aspiring lawyer, I'll add. Of course, our kids, Noah and Emilian, and all of these scouters. Boy Scout Troop 532. I am so wowed, Mr. Barry, at your words, that you, troop, would come down here. For me, this is one outdoor excursion that I did not schedule. So somebody took it upon themselves, and I have a feeling who it might be, but thank you, Scouts, for being here. There are more Class A uniforms, I think, in this room right now than there are black robes, and that is a pretty cool thing. So much of the work that gets done in this building and even in this courtroom, the Supreme Court hearing room, is done for you, our youth, our next generation. Our future, everybody's future, in turn rests with you, our youth. The days will be here before we know it when it is one of you teenagers or your contemporaries that takes this oath and occupies these chairs. I observed within my written application that when you Scouts are my age, I am going to be in my 90s. Yikes. Madam Chief Justice, Chief Judge Altice, counselors to our governors, Lieutenant Governor, senators, and other esteemed officials of our state here, I'm glad to report that if the security of our future can be found in the reflection of what I see in these youths, we are in good hands. I have so much hope and optimism for our futures. I am so ready and excited to do my best to do my duties to this bench, to our judiciary, to our Hoosier state. And I'll just close by saying that I am not a proud person. It is difficult for me to hear people say the things about me that I have heard today. Thank you for that. Although I'm not a proud person, I am proud of our state's judiciary. I am proud of our seat of government that sits in this grand Hoosier State House. I am proud of our youth. I am proud to call myself one of you, lawyers, judges, public servants, colleagues, friends, and family. I am proud to be an extension of all of you, and I stand on all of your shoulders. I thank you all for this honor and this privilege. Chief Judge.
Come on, tell him.
I'm like Chris, you know, I'm here for it.
Welcome, Judge Sheiley, and I invite you at this time, don't sit down there, I invite you to take your seat right over here next to Judge Felix. Welcome to the Court of Appeals. Thank you all very much, friends, colleagues, family members, scouts. Thank you all very much for being here to kick off Judge Sam Scheele's career with the Court of Appeals of Indiana. We've heard from a lot of people here today, so I'm going to keep it brief. Sure you are. As you all know, Judge Sheiley was appointed to this court in December, sworn in on January the 8th of 2025. So we've already had the pleasure of working with him for a few months, and in just a short time, he already feels like part of our family. He's open, he's fun-loving, he's kind, he's a collegial person, he's a true team player. We like him, and we like working with him. So thank you, Governor Holcomb, your office. Also, thank you, Governor Braun's office, too, for supporting this appointment as well. The last person I want to thank here today is all of you. I think as you saw today that Judge Scheele really it goes across the community. He's got people from all over the state of Indiana that appreciate his work, love him, and appreciate what he does for the citizens of this state. So thank you all. Give yourself a round of applause and let's go eat some cake.